Masechet Menahot, 15 lines down on Daf Yod Aleph, Amud Aleph. We were talking about Kmitzah and how it's done. Well, until now we said how it's not done. So now the Gemara says, Hey, Avir, how do we do it? Amarav Zutram Marav Tuvi Marav Hafesh Tav. The Kohen closes the three middle fingers, Achim Agi al Pasidol till it reaches the end of the palm of his hand. Then he scoops up whatever's inside. Tanim Nachi, and he scoops the flour. Maybe they might think the flour should be overflowing. In the comments. Even the unmentioned in the comments. Even maybe even you could do knita with the fingertips. How you do that? You do the three fingers over the entire palm and you scoop. You smooth out the comments inside your fingers with the thumb from on top and the little finger on the bottom. This is very difficult to do, but this is a very difficult avodah to do in Beit Hamikdash. The Gemara says, "This is what's so difficult. Nothing else is hard." Milika is very hard to do. This the killing of the bird with the fingernail. Also the hafina is extremely difficult. We mentioned in Zerachim, I believe, or Yom, where they used to the Kohen Gadol in Yom Kippur when he used to have to use the ladle, he would have to hold the ladle with his mouth, with his teeth. Okay. So we say, when is it? That's difficult. This is extremely difficult. Other thing that's extremely difficult. The Gemara says, no, this is one of the difficult parts of the Beit HaMikdash. Marva, Pshita Leib Lo Kum Tzog, the Mekasa Inchi. Makes sense to me when it says the full comments in the Pasuk refers to the way people usually scoop, like scooping with your hand. Rabbi has a question. What if you scoop it with the tips of your fingers? Right? Palm facing down, sticking into the flour and curling your fingers in. Minas Sadin. What if from the side, what's halacha? What if you put the back of a hand on the flour and push it down until it pops in? But mital matamai. What if you do from bottom up? Right? If your back of your hand facing down, you put your fingers into the flour until you're able to lift flour with the fingers in order to fill the palm. That's a teku, no answer. Mara papa. Pshita li below chafnat kida hafni. Inchi. When it says the cupped hands, it means the Kohen Gadol should fill his hands with as people usually fill their hands by scooping it up. What if he does with the fingertips, from the side, like we said earlier? What if he scooped the Torah in this hand and that hand, and then he brought his hands together? Does that count or not? Teku. Another question. What if the Kohen did Kmitzah, he puts the comments in the sides of the wall of the Kli Jaret instead of putting it into the bottom? Sorry. Instead of putting it directly into the bottom of the vessel. Talk to Vainan, we say that it has to be inside, and therefore Vaikan is technically inside. Well, Dima Hanachaba we say it has to place inside, Yani inside the bottom. But like it's not. Where it says Teko. Find more Barabashi. What if the Kohen put the vessel inside out and pasted the comments to the bottom of the vessel? And Hanachaba has to be inside, the Ikan, it's technically there. Or Dima Betikna we mentioned the normal way. But like it's not. Teku. Okay. New Mishnah. Case I always said. How do we do the kmitzah? He extends his fingers over the palm of his hand, like we said. Ribash Menav, he has too much oil. Hisesh Menav, not enough oil. Hisel not enough levanat, pasul. Okay. Where it says, Hayechi dami ribash Menav, what does it mean you have extra oil? Marabi alazar. Kegon shefrish la shnei lugin. Where he designated two logs for mincha instead of one. Where it says, V'lokma kegon da'ari b'shem da'olim b'shem da'chavrata. Why did it mention that he designated an extra log? He only did one, he did two. Why don't you say he mixed a smaller amount of oil that was not kadosh, or even another type of oil that was kadosh, part of mincha? Why did you mention a whole other log? The one says, maybe you want to give me the answer, shemen da'holin v'shemen havetela, but it's not a case of pisul if you mix extra oil. Let's give it a bit of but it's not the problem is we have a question. In the case of a sinner mincha, which you're not to have oil and it's pasul, would be the case. Idzav is bringing its own oil. Halatla, there isn't any. Either Hulin Baharta is in case of Kadosh Hulin or another Minchas Hulin, the oil, Ha'amart Lopasab, we say it's not pasul. So it must be that the oil of a sinner mincha makes it pasul, even from another mincha. So I have to bring me another case over here of another whole log. You don't need another whole log. You just bring another minchas oil. Where it says Verebi Elazar, no, he's telling you the concept, the format of the Gemara when it says you don't need this, but even not that. You don't need to teach me the case of an unkadosh oil, or another minchas oil that makes pasul. But even in the case where it doesn't need two separate logs of oil, technically that each one is separately fit for it. Even though maybe you think the extra should not be pasul, come on, therefore it is. Gemara says, "Vinala the real there, ha, vinala the real there." Where's the real there this from? Marava, but the kashita here, the Mishnah had a problem for him. Ma edit tani libash. Now, why did the Mishnah mention only increase oil? Then tani libala shamin. Why did he mention he increased oil for it? Why do you mean it's oil? Ella hakamash must be the case. The afagav the frish slash lugin, even if he already designated it, it's oil. That's what it's pasul. Where it says, next part of Mishnah says, he said if you reduce the levanah. Where it says, Tanabra in Breita, Hasab Amdal according to Hapsla, you have not enough levanah, you have one particle left of the pasul. Ashne Kiretel Kasher, you have two, it's kasher. The Rabbi Zakuni Dar, Bishman Mer, according to Hakshra, even one's kasher, Ahom comes less than one complete particle of levanah is pasul. But Tanabra says, Rabbi Shimon Mer, Kometz levanah Shahisel kosher pasul. A Kometz levanah that's missing any amount of pasul. So what is it? Can you have a minimum or not? What's going on over here? Where it says, Tani koret levana shehizel kosher pasul. No. In the second part of the case, we have one particle left. It's missing amount. That's considered like a Shimon is pasul. Different answer. Kan levana haba'a imaha mincha. In the first part, we're talking about a case where the levana is coming as part of the mincha, meaning the mincha remains kasher as long as there's some levana. Kan levana haba'a lefnei asman. The second part, that's about a case where there's a levana by itself. Therefore, you're missing anything. It is pasul. Okay. Marav Yishak bar Yosef, Marav Yochanan. Shlosh Muhammad, there's three machlokes regarding this concept of levana. Rabbi Meir Savar Kometz B'Chilav Kometz B'Sof. Rabbi Meir holds there has to be a Kometz levana in the beginning when you're first doing the kmitza, and a Kometz at the end when you're doing kmitza on when the burning of the Kometz on the mizbeach. Rabbi Savar Kometz B'Chilav Shnei Kometzim B'Sof. You need a Kometz in the beginning, but you only need two particles of levana at the end. Rabbi Shimon Savar Kometz B'Chilav Kometz B'Sof. Rabbi Shimon said you need a Kometz in the beginning, but only one particle of levana at the end. All, even though they have three separate opinions, they have learned from the same pasuk. One pasuk is the pasuk is Ve'et kol levana asher la mincha. Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi learns the pasuk Ad de'ita levana de'ikava lahada mincha ba'ikra. Rabbi Meir holds that it's not kasher unless the levana that was there in the beginning stays there when it's burnt. Rabbi does savar kol afilu had koret. When it says any, means even one piece. Et, and the word et the rabot koret ahead is including another particle. I mean two. Rabbi Shimon et Rabbi Shimon does not learn the word et to teach you anything, and therefore one is okay. I'm already talking about Rabbi Yochanan Machloket b'Levana ba'Abna Mincha. This Machloket implies the Levana that comes part of the Korban Mincha. But Levana b'Knesma, but Levana that comes by itself. Divrei HaKol Kometz B'Techila B'Kometz B'Sof. Everybody agrees that a Kometz Levana has to be in the beginning and for the end. If it's missing, it's Pasul. La'ar Yizrich Asher Mincha, so Pasuk mentions Asher Mincha. The Had Mincha either. If it becomes Mincha, yes. If not, Aspa lo, but not by itself. Amar Yitzhak Bar Yosef Rabbi Yochanan, Machlok b'Levana ba'Abba Mincha. Machlok is the one case where the Levana is with Mincha. But Mincha ba'Abba is b'Zeichim, but the Levana that comes with the spoons for the Shulchan with Lechem Panim. Divrei HaKol Shnei Kimasin B'Tchila u'Shnei Kimasin B'Sof. Everybody agrees that to make Kimasin and Levana needs to be in the beginning and two at the end. Shizam, why would you think that be missing and be kasher? The Gemara says, you might think since it's coming with the bread. Kasher Mincha then is considered like similar, like the way with the Mincha and it's still kosher. Hashem therefore saying he's not. Pligi bara Rabbi Ami, but Rabbi Yitzhak Naf has Machlok between Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Yitzhak Naf. Halamar Rabbi says Machlok b'Levana ba'Am Mincha. Machlok b'Levana is part of a if it's part of a Korban Mincha. Yani Rabbi Yitzhak and Shmuel would argue whether or not it's kasher if it's missing. B'Levana ba'Am Mincha, but if Levana is coming by itself, David Akol comments with Kilai, but agrees comments itself has to be remaining the same amount. Halamar one opinion says Kimachol b'Zul, Kamachol b'Zul, the same Machlok applies to both. Okay, last part of Mishnah. Second part of Mishnah, sorry, last part of Mishnah. If you removed a part of the Vana, it's pasul. Hayi ter kshira sounds like if only you removed it. It didn't mention anything about adding. Adding is kasher. But saying ter pasul, we know it's pasul in different parts. The Gemara says, when it's considered adding, in my case where he designated two kimatzin of the Vana, that's too much. But if you add a little bit, it's okay. Someone designated two kimatzin of the Vana for the Mincha. And one of them was pasul, was lost before Kmitzah. It's not considered part of the Mincha, and therefore it's kasher. How the Kmitzah, if he lost the Levana after the Kmitzah, Huk will always consider already established, part of the Mincha, and therefore it's pasul. If he put four kimatzin for the two spoons instead of two for the two spoons, two of them lost before the removal of the spoons, was not established and therefore it's kasher. Lost after the removal, they're established and therefore, sorry, the first one's kasher, the second one's pasul. Why need the seemingly same format of the cases of Levana by Mincha and by Lechem Panim? Same thing, no? The Gemara says, you might have thought, why did he mention the case of the Lechem Panim? Because maybe since the comment is already determined, Kevin Sheikh is manada barka. Therefore, as soon as the time for the to remove the bread from the shulchan arrived, Kimanda Britam they first considered removed already. Mashon therefore that the Lacham Panim is not pasul unless the actual Avanah was still there when it was time to remove it physically. Okay, we'll start the Mishnah. With intention to eat the remainder outside the Beit HaMikdash. Or to eat a kezayit amount outside. La'atir kumtza b'achut, to burn the komets outside the chaser. Or kezayit kumtza b'achut, to burn an olive, a kezayit amount out of the komets outside. Or la'atir levanot b'achut, to burn the levana outside the chaser. All these places are not supposed to be done there. Pasul but makret is pasul, but there's no pigul. It's not karet. Le'achol shira levachar, if he did mitzvah with intention to eat it tomorrow. Oh, kezayit shira levachar, to eat an olive amount tomorrow. La'atir kumtza b'achar, to burn the komets tomorrow. Oh, kezayit kumtza b'achar, to an olive amount of comments the next day, or laktil levana mahara, to burn the levana for tomorrow. Pigul v'chayim alav karet, it's pigul and karet. Why? Because it's different. We're going to explain that tomorrow.